They had everything stripped out. We've stripped this down to the bare walls. They had no concrete, no iron in these walls, and we had to pour 26 yards of concrete and put 300 linear feet of 5/8 rebar. Because you could, when you took this roof off, you could walk up to this wall and push it and get a whoom, 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 whoom. So we had to do that. We got this back to this point. We got what we're waiting on now is we need to finish painting this church. I need to grout. These are the taskings. I'm not saying they're your taskings, but will fit what we have to do with what your skill level, what you'd like to do. I need to finish painting this church. That will allow me to get the drop ceiling man in here and put this drop ceiling that will follow the contour of this cathedral ceiling, and where we won't be getting paint on it after he's here. Then I can have my air conditioner man come back in and put the grades in, and we can hook up. The air conditioning is functioning, but we're waiting to put the drop ceiling before we hook all this back up. I need to stain the choir rail, but that can wait if we don't get to that. I've got 6 doors I need to hang. I've got double glass doors, swing both ways. I'm waiting for them to get that sheetrock up because I don't want to put glass doors up with somebody swinging hammers or bumping. My pastor asked me to come. I work for them. I'm retired from the government. I was a computer specialist. I don't know anything about this, but I've got a guy that's in my church as a building contractor, retired, built our church, was the superintendent of our church. So God just give me good people, and I can do spreadsheets and logistics and get the stuff and coordinate, and that's what I do. But as far as I've learned how to do some of this stuff, but that's not my forte. I get the people that have, and the way I work is I take your infrastructure of leadership and I work through your leaders to work with you because they know you individually better than I would have the time to learn it. And so it all flows together. God sends us the ones that got the mission's heart. I haven't had no problems. Thank God. It gets frustrating when you have problems with people and they got a separate agenda or something and I don't have time to address that, and I pray to God that he don't send me anymore. I had a sex offender got sent down here from a church that was outreach ministry, had a post office worker, you know, the don't go postal. They were all of them had some sort of an addiction, and they didn't tell me, and they sent them down here, and I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. They all had a separate agenda. They didn't want to do devotions in the morning. And I'm saying, so I called this guy back up. I said, and this kid said, I got to go take care of personal business, and he took off, and he got lost. And I didn't find him till 7:30 that night. He went to the sheriff's department, had to register as a sex offender. He had an underage sexual encounter, and he got put in jail for it. So I called his guy back up. I said, how come you didn't tell me that? He said, well, I didn't know. I said, I can deal with what I know. I can't deal with what I don't know. Right. But the young man is reconstructing his life. Everything worked out through that. He's been back down, and so that worked through it. But, you know, when you start something with God, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you go. That's what I told them. You got to be prepared. Now, I only got 2 rules down here. Number 1 is, if you don't feel safe doing something you're asked to do, don't do it. Just come back and tell me, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Number 2 is, whatever you won't put up with at home, you're going to have to put up with down here. We're in a disaster area. I can do all the best planning I can, but when it comes to execution, like for instance, we're here to paint the church. If you're using water-based paint, what's the primary ingredient that you need to clean up with? Water. We've got a water pump in that pump house that they're torn apart, and we don't have water. All right, so I can plan everything I can, have coordinating with the groups that's coming in here, and ready to do what we're going to do, but there's something always jumps up and tests you. And so we found out now we got to go over on the other side of Miss Sam's house to get water and do that. But what we know about, we can adjust. And just have patience. And if it seems like, well, we did this, like, I've got stuff scattered between 3 churches, materials. I got all the materials, all the equipment is ours. Okay, the materials belong to the church. But all the tools and everything is ours. But we've got 4 churches, and we're fixing to break the foundation, lay the foundation for Brother Rawls' church money. So if I don't have it, and you like, well, Doug, he don't even know where it is. Well, I know I got it, but I just got to stop and think of where it is. I'll go get it. Okay. So we're pretty much. This afternoon, I talked to Miss Sam and some of the ladies of the church that indicated that they would come over and help paint. I want to accomplish the painting. If I don't accomplish anything else, I want to accomplish the painting. And I'd like to finish that sheetrock. What I mean by finish, at least get it up. Because if you notice, you're familiar with finishes on sheetrock. This is called an orange peel effect. We're fortunate that in our church we have a lot of tradespeople. And we had several gentlemen that came over here and volunteered and built things. They do framing and all. They built the stage, and then others come along and added to it. And they came over. They said, Doug, when you get that sheetrock finished, we'll come back over here and spray it just like we did this for you. So that's what I'm trying to get done. So if I can get these little incremental things done, we can get on target and hopefully get in here. Weather and everything else, and this whole project of recovery is driven by the amount of volunteers you got. Here's the way that this is working. If you've ever had to deal with the insurance company after a hurricane, you got it's hurricane, it's not water damage, and so they didn't get the insurance money they should have. What we did is we are registered, as you probably do in your church, a 501c3 tax exempt organization. That's good for the state you're in. It's not good over here. But when you start, we've helped write grants to augment these churches that didn't have enough insurance money. Here's the way we work. We set up an individual account under our financial secretary in our church that every month, whatever bills we've incurred, we use our corporate credit cards to purchase the materials. We bring them the receipts. They write us the money that covers that purchase, and that's how we've been working for the last year. The grants, because we are recognized as a 501c3, for some of the churches, we were the fiduciary agent. That means that they send the check to the church puts it in our account, we draw on it, and we're responsible for the accountability and the paper chain back to that Samaritan Purse or the Bush Clinton Katrina fund to show that all funds that were requested and that they were utilized for the intent that they were used for. And that's all to make sure everything's above board and done right. We get paid nothing for it. We're mission people. We pay out of our own pocket to come over here and do it. So that's the way this whole recovery system is working over here and what I'm trying to accomplish with this here today. If we get to the point that we can't go any further with what we need to do here, skill level or circumstance and all, I can go down there and start tying rebar together to put in the foundation for Brother Rawls's church, because Monday morning we've already got equipment set up, a trencher to come and start digging that footing. And I've got sand coming this afternoon. I got to be floating around here, so I may jump in my truck and be gone, but I'm down here doing something else on another job. But that's why I say you've got my cell number, and I ask that whoever your leaders are in all groups, I get their number and I have yours, and any other teams. And hey, if you break up into individual teams, because if I go to buy materials and then somebody says, oh, we forgot to tell Doug such and such. Well, don't allow me to come all the way back over here. Call me on the phone. Or if I get over there and I don't quite understand the pick list that you gave me, I'm going to need to call somebody that put it on a piece of paper where they can tell me, well, what does that really mean? You know, there's communication problem. So that's generally the scheme of things that we're doing here. Anybody got any? What's so funny? Hey, yeah.
Welcome home. Welcome home, everybody. Come here, Larry.
We wanted the one with the jacuzzi. Yeah, I heard it was taken.
Welcome home, Lori. Come and welcome us home.
We are glad to have you back. You know, I was just
Oh man.
Go over here, Lori.
You're running my battery down.
Oh, my goodness.
There we go. There we go. I see.
Now, come on,
Thank you.
Come on,
My battery's about.